Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. Joining us for our second conversation are some wonderful folks from different parts of the environment sector. It's all about World Water Day. And so we have joining us Mrs. Shani Rayburn, and she's the environmental technician over at the Department of the Environment. Good morning.
Good morning.
And we also have Tennille Hendy, and she is the principal hydrologist over at the National Hydrological Service.
Good morning.
Ladies,
Good morning.
Wonderful
Good morning.
titles. Good morning.
Good morning.
So before we get into World Water Day and what we're supposed to be doing to celebrate, why water matters. And I love that line right there, because I think we tend to take for granted that you turn on a faucet and there's water. But we don't realize how important or how intricate it is to conserve water. It's not a renewable resource, and I think that people tend to kind of like, blind themselves away from it because they have access to it. Let's talk about why water matters.
So just to give some context before we get started, is that World Water Day is celebrated every year on March 22nd, and it was a day established by the United Nations. And for us to celebrate it here in Belize, we had to form a committee. The National Hydrological Service is the lead, so they are the one that leads the activities and celebrations for this day in Belize. And so we formed a committee that have several members. So I'll apologize from now if I forget anyone, is because it's 11 of us. So there's the National Hydrological Service, the Department of the Environment, RW Solutions, the Ministry of Rural Transformation. We also have other organizations that I'm not feeling to say, but it's just a lot, right? It's 11 of us. And so for us, basically what World Water Day does is that it focuses global attention on the importance of water and, of course, the sustainable water practices that we have. So that is why it matters, right? Like you mentioned a while ago, you open a faucet and there's water. There are communities here in country that still don't have that, that commodity of having that water from a faucet. They still have to create a well, still have to abstract that water, right? And just for us to open a faucet, it's like sometimes we take it for granted.
I remember the other day I was in Cocker, and I was using a steamer to steam an outfit, and I used the water from the pipe, right? And when I got home, I realized that there was salt all over the edge
like a
buildup. And so even though there is water, the water is still not all that great for certain use and certain purposes, but that's the water that they have access to. So in terms of like clean water for us to be able to use for drinking, for washing, for cooking and cleaning, not all of us have access to that either, right? So how are we kind of ensuring that there is that safety?
Okay, so we were just having this discussion before we came on about access and what it means for everyone. When you look at the team, water and gender equality, we tend to frame it that it's only about women. It's not about women, it's about women, men, little girls, little boys. Right here at home, we are not aware that there are still children who are affected by not having access to water. Some of them miss school. There are health-related issues why they don't have access to water. And I know that it's like, don't say that, but these are the realities that we are faced with. And the only way we can help to address the issue is by bringing awareness to it. In terms of the quality, one of our partners is the Ministry of Health and Wellness. Their lab team is a part of the committee. It's only 2 of them, but they show up. They show up when they're supposed to show up. They contribute, they give, good feedback, constructive criticism. So in that part of it, along with the Department of the Environment, they work together. We all work together. Hydrology, health, Department of the Environment, we often refer to ourselves as sister agencies. When you need help, you lean on a sister. It's like a family. You lean on the other one, for us to advance. But there are a lot of things that we're doing, and we can't jam it into one session. So in connection with the team and the celebrations, we'll be having a Water Day fair in San Ignacio, and that will be on March 18th, where all the water related, whether you're a user, a stakeholder, a regulator, we will be having booths there showcasing what we do. You can learn about what we do, other than when we just pop in and pop out on the different talk shows.
I want to sort of piggyback on what April began with. Excuse me. The fact that many of us take water for granted, right? I think there have been campaigns in the past where we remind our children, for instance, that if you're brushing your teeth,
Close the
Turn off
faucet.
close the faucet, right? If you're not washing your hands, don't have the pipe running unnecessarily
Yeah.
and so on. I think gone are those days. I may be wrong. I feel like gone are those days when we're constantly reminding each other that, as April mentioned, water is not necessarily a renewable resource, right? So we have to be very mindful on how we use it and the purposes for which we're using it. Has there been any push from the government to be able to continue raising awareness and reminding people that, look, we need to be more responsible in our use of water?
Okay, so the Department of the Environment, we run several programs within schools. And I know you mentioned you don't feel like they're there to remind you what to do. To be honest, I feel like that should be something embedded in your DNA, right? Like you conserve water because you know it's a non-renewable resource, right? And so we've run programs where we teach a lot about water conservation. Actually, we have a Clean Schools, Healthy Students program, and water is one of the topics that we do talk about. What people don't understand is where does actual water come from, and that is where we need to start. Groundwater. If we pollute that groundwater, man, the scarcity that we would have. Yeah.
So and that's a part of our program as well. We partner with the Department of the Environment, but we supply all the science related instruction or materials. We try to make it as understandable as it is. I know that we get onto these aquifers and you know, unconfined and confined, and then you're looking at me with question marks like, what are you talking about? So we built a model. What we didn't realize was that the model was made of glass, and it became very heavy to transport. So what we did is that we made miniatures of them, and we supply them to the Department of the Environment for them to go to use as an example. We show what's a confined aquifer. It basically means you don't have anything trapping the water. With the confined, you're trapping it. So we would put layers of clay, you have a water pocket, you have clay, and then you have sand. So when you pour the water in the top, you see it doesn't go anywhere, it just stays there. And then we can relate that to different areas that we see in our environment. So we try to make it as user-friendly
as possible.
A 5-year-old could understand what we're doing.
So in Belize then, for us here at home, we have a growing population of 400,000 people where I'm not sure what the percentage is that actually does have access to potable drinking and safe water. Perhaps maybe one of you might have that information.
I think it was about 99%. So it still shows that we have some work to do. We're not completely covered. And that 1% can be really big. So we have
we're very
for that bias.
And then
it's
where does
interesting
that?
you'd say that. I'll use a quick example here. Just last week, we had new water systems being installed in southern Belize, in Yemery Grove, and in San Jose. But we're thinking, again, you guys will forgive me if that from Belize City and I don't think about Belize City. I feel like because I could just turn on
your faucet,
that Belize City, everybody else across the country have water.
But that's the mentality. And so my second part of my question is, where does the water that supplies Belize come from?
It comes for Belize City. It comes from the Belize River. But I know there are multiple wells, I think over about 50 wells nationwide that the Belize Water Service operates that provides water to the populace in their area. So they're using both groundwater and surface water, where in other countries your groundwater is absolutely the last thing that you want to use because of the confined and the unconfined nature. By nature, the groundwater is a cleaner version of the surface water. It's not exposed to the atmosphere and you have the contaminants floating around. It's in a pocket below the surface. So usually you don't interfere or abstract from your groundwater aquifers. They're kind of like your reserves. You know, you have that savings account, you put it one side. I don't touch it. I'm not going to touch it. I need to touch it now. So that's kind of the same model that you want to employ with your groundwater, but we're not able to do that in all instances. Sometimes groundwater is the only place that you can get water from, so you have to tap into it, but you need to be careful how you tap into it.
All right, so let's segue quickly, right? What are the activities we're looking forward to for World Water Day this year, and what's the theme?
So the theme this year is water, where water flows, equality grows. And I think that's so significant for us in country, because I feel like that theme calls for inclusive water policies that consider women and girls, right? So I really love that theme. Activities that we can look forward to and the public can look forward to is where we'll have the photo collage contest on Facebook, right? So we have an age range, 18 to 30 years old, and so that contest the deadline is February 26th, but what will happen is that you'll create your collage on an 11 by 17 size. You could do it digital. It has to be you being a hero for water, how you conserve water, right? And so we want that to be a part of it, and then you also have to show how you empower women and girls with your photo. You're going to be saying in that collage that I'm a water hero and how am I a water hero, right? You'll send a 1 to 2 sentence caption. You'll send that to info@nhs.gov.bz. National Hydrological Service will then post your collage on Facebook, and the person who gets the most likes will be the winner for that contest, right? Because they want to include people on social media, but we also want to include persons who are not part of social media. So we also have a water award. So the water award, what we really and truly want is to recognize persons or individuals, businesses or companies that are contributing positively to sustainable water practices in Belize, right? And so that is another award that you can nominate someone, and that deadline is February 27th. If they want to see the full guidelines, it can be found on the Department of the Environment website, and so that will be available there. You can nominate someone if you know someone in your community who to you has represented all of that and has done measurable or demonstrated measurable impact, you know, or innovation that you see is fitting. You can nominate that individual, right? We also have, like Mr. Neil mentioned, our water fair. We also on that day have the official opening ceremonies for World Water Day. We also have, to me, very interestingly this year, the committee has come up with a youth debate, which is very, very good. The youth debate is happening on March 17th at the San Ignacio Hotel. But what I love about it is that based on how, because you have to have a yes and someone that will say no. For the youth debate, what we're doing is for youth to really recognize the importance of national water policies, but also be able to identify real solutions for water and climate challenges that we're facing here in country. That's the only way we can include them, that includes youth, and to let them consider and see how gender is being mainstream in these water policies.
Yeah. And when you talk about equality or equity when it comes to gender and in these different scenarios, I always think about when I was growing up, and when we want water, there used to always be the community place for go wash, right? Now why you laugh at me for? I don't know about he started turn on his faucet and he got water. But we would always, if there is no space there, where you have to go to the river, right? And I recall looking at like my grandma. She had put a towel on her head with the bucket, and then walk with us with her laundry and ensure that everybody else's clothes are clean. And that was what, 20 years ago, 25 years ago for us. But when I travel around the country, that is still a huge reality for a lot of people in rural spaces.
But what do you notice, April? That it's mainly women and
always
girls that are doing it, because they are known to be in the caregivers at home. They are the nurturers,
domestic,
right? And so that then touches with gender roles as what society sees us doing. They don't see Sonny washing clothes.
Sonny turn on his faucet.
Exactly.
Washing machine.
I feel like wait, you turn on the washing machine.
Let's qualify a few things, right? No, you're absolutely right when you're saying that in the rural parts of the country, that is their reality, right? So, as a child, I could recall traveling south with my parents and you would pass certain rivers in the Toledo district
And you see
where
it.
you see
You see
Maya
washing.
women and their children at
Right.
the river washing and doing it.
Yeah.
So it's not something that is foreign to
Oblivious
me.
to it, yeah.
It goes back to what I said earlier and what you said, where we take certain things for granted,
Yeah.
right? But the reality is, you still have a number of communities across this country that don't have the
Have
kind of
access.
access to water. Not only potable water, any other form of water that can be used for other
To shower.
activities. Exactly.
Right, and so it brings us to the some of the team points in the campaign.
Yeah.
Water is a crisis globally, but what the team is trying to bring out is that it doesn't affect us equally.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is what we
Yeah.
need to appreciate, we need to understand, we need to address. We're now seeing females in the science.
Yeah.
Before that was unheard of, like a female being a scientist. Like
Yeah.
no, like you should
Like a
be at home.
hydrologist or
Environmental technician.
Or a meteorologist.
Yeah.
Mishani is a female. She's, a technician. These were not areas that you would see us in, performing in. Like, we're domestics. But it just shows that where you have more equality, you have progress. And it's not about separating females from males.
right.
It's about showing where we're standing side by side with the same goal, how we can achieve progress.
Yeah, we're
It's
evolving
introducing us
together.
into that world. We are natural born leaders at
But
home.
everything, I think everything has a trickle effect in the way that we approach certain themes and topics, because if the clothes no wash, my grandpa can't go to Milpa. If my grandpa can't go to Milpa, we no got food, right? So it
Yeah, the
all has a
connection.
connection, and I think we all play a really key role when it comes to this particular topic.
Yeah.
And Belize is no different from other parts of the world. I think we're lucky
Very true.
in certain spaces where certain countries, they're at their last when it comes
Yeah,
to
the water
potable water
resources.
and tapping into their resources. But as we wrap up our conversation, it's next month, right? But
Yes,
you're
next
having these other
Activities that lead to it.
So can you give us the deadlines for these
Yeah,
activities?
so for the photo collage contest, that is February 26th. For the award where you get to nominate someone in your community, individual, business, or organization, that's February 27th. We have the youth debate, which is March 17th at the San Ignacio Hotel. So if you're out there, I would encourage you to go out there and hear what the youth has to say about national water policies and what they think about it. We also have the open ceremony and the fair, which is on March 18th. And we also have roaming presentations, which is going to be done in the Stan Creek district and in the Kyle district. So we'll visit the high school and then talk about World Water Day and, of course, why water is important.
And some of these deadlines and so forth, they can be found on your various
Yes.
websites. And then the World Water Day fair is...
In San Ignacio on March 18th.
I know you said you had some people to thank.
Yes, some sponsors. I literally wrote it down. So we want to thank Aquafina, Benke, Atlantic Bank Limited, Belize Formulators Limited, the Department of the Environment, the Angelos Press, Hydro Belize, Jaguar Reef, and of course UNICEF for being our sponsors. We are still waiting for other sponsors, but these are the ones that have confirmed and committed to support us this year.
Wonderful. Ladies, thank you so much for joining us. And
Thank you.
before we take a break, I need to share the motivational quote with you all this morning. And the quote goes like this: "What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us." And that quote is by
wow.
Ralph Waldo Emerson. So I'll share with you again. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. So thank you, Ralph, for that lovely quote for this morning.
Very beautiful.
Very beautiful. We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be having a one-on-one conversation with Balancing the Scales with Women in Art 2026.